So today, we're going to talk about a piece of tech built to solve a very, very modern problem. But you know what? The real story here isn't even about the technology. It's about what happens when a great idea gets rejected by the system and its creators decide, you know what? We're going to do this our own way.
And that really is the question, isn't it? It's something pretty much any creator has to deal with at some point. Do you change your idea to fit in? Do you just give up? Or do you go it alone? That exact choice is right at the heart of this whole sovereign biosensor story. All right, so let's start at the beginning with the problem itself. If you've ever strapped on a VR headset for more than a few minutes, you might already know the feeling this whole thing was designed to prevent: VR fatigue.
Yeah, that dizzy, kind of queasy feeling you can get in VR, that's what we're talking about. Turns out the main culprit is something called the Vergence accommodation conflict. Okay, think of it like this. In the game, your eyes see something way off in the distance, and they try to focus on it. But the screen, well, the screen is literally an inch from your face. Your brain gets these two totally contradictory signals, and it just can't make sense of it. That confusion is what makes you feel sick. So Dr. Melvin Sewell's solution was this really elegant three-part system. First, it uses eye trackers and a wristband to sense all these little physiological signals, stuff you'd never notice. Then, in the middle, it analyzes all that data with AI to figure out, in real time, just how fatigued you're getting. And then, and this is the really cool part, it tells the VR system to adapt, tweaking the experience on the fly to keep you feeling comfortable. Okay, so you have this promising solution. What's the next logical step? Well, you've got to get it funded, get it recognized by the experts. And for that, they went down the most traditional path there is, seeking institutional validation. This slide right here, it really shows you the massive shift in their thinking. On the left, you've got the original plan, a proposal for the funding gatekeepers. The goal was all about business, about commercial viability. But look at what it eventually became. On the right, a scientific paper for the public record. Now, the focus is purely on how rigorous and sound the method is. The audience totally changed, from this tiny committee to basically the entire scientific community. But here's the thing. This big pivot, it wasn't really a choice. It happened because they hit a massive brick wall, a turning point that would completely change where this project was headed. And this timeline just lays it all out so clearly. Start of 2023, you have the proposal, full of hope, sent off to the institution. By the end of that year, bam, rejection. And then, just silence. For over 2 years, the project pretty much goes dark. Until, out of nowhere, in April 2026, it pops back up, not as a product pitch, but as a public scientific document for anyone to see. You have to understand this was the moment that could have been the end. A flat-out no from the National Science Foundation, which is one of the biggest gatekeepers in the scientific world. For most ideas, that's it, story over. But for this one, it was just the beginning of a whole new chapter. Because instead of just accepting failure, the creators, with a little help from an editorial in B magazine, did something truly radical. They decided to reframe the rejection. It wasn't a failure. It was a declaration of sovereignty, a statement of their intellectual independence. And this quote from that editorial just perfectly captures this new way of thinking. The rejection is not the end. It is the beginning of its sovereign trajectory. All of a sudden, this wasn't about asking for permission anymore. It was about creating their own path forward. So what in the world is a sovereign trajectory? Well, it's the path an idea takes when it just breaks free from needing that official stamp of approval. Its value, its legitimacy, doesn't come from a gatekeeper saying yes. It comes from the quality of the work itself and its ability to connect directly with people. And to really build out this new path, they basically created a whole new language for it. They weren't just publishing a paper. They were creating mythic infrastructure, a foundational work that other people could build on. They weren't just sharing it online, they were making a sovereign broadcast, speaking directly to the world. And the paper itself, it became a multiversal anchor, a piece of work that exists in the world of science, culture, and independent thought, all at the same time.
So the most crucial thing to understand is this powerful mental shift. That no from a huge institution wasn't seen as a barrier anymore. It was seen as a release. Rejection was completely reframed as the ultimate form of liberation, which allowed the idea to finally exist on its own terms.
So when you look at this whole story, what it all boils down to is a choice, a really modern choice actually, between two totally different ways of proving an idea has value. On one side, you've got the institutional path. It's like a straight road.
And at the end, there's a single gatekeeper who decides if you get to pass. Legitimacy is given to you. But then there's the sovereign path. It's a little more messy, a little more organic. On this path, legitimacy isn't given, it's earned. It grows from the ground up, just from the strength of the idea and its connection with the community.
And so, this whole story leaves us with this massive question, especially for the world we live in now. When anyone can publish any idea for the whole world to see, who actually gets to decide what's good or important or legitimate? Is it still the old gatekeepers, or is it all of us?